Hello, welcome to Module 1, Awakening the Leader Within the Teacher. And our focus will be on understanding teacher leadership as identity and not position. So, in this opening episode, we are going to be exploring what it means to awaken the leader within the teacher. What does it really mean? We're going to be looking into teacher leadership not being a title, teacher leadership being a mindset, right? We're going to be discussing how to redefine what leadership looks like in everyday classroom, right? Many teachers underestimate the power they already have. And as someone who have been a teacher for close to 20 years, if not more than 20 years, I can say that teachers underestimate the power that they already have. One of the outcome of my doctoral dissertation was the fact that results showed that many teachers do not see themselves as leaders. Many teachers do not see themselves as leaders. So within the classroom, teachers have a lot of power, but we underestimate the power that is at our disposal. And that's the essence of this module for us to unpack what does this power look like and what can we do with this power. So leadership is not confined to administration, and that's the focus. You're not a leader because you're a principal. You're not a leader because you are a director of education. You're not a leader because you're a proprietor. No. Leadership begins when a teacher takes initiative. Leadership begins when a teacher supports peers. Leadership begins when a teacher drives innovation. Leadership begins when a teacher champions student growth. These are all forms of the power that a teacher has. If we recognize this power, then we'll begin to maximize this power. That's when the leader within us begins to flourish. So let's quickly look at 3 C's of teacher leadership. Maybe these will help as many teachers that are listening to this to begin to unpack this power, to begin to bring those power out of their out of their cells, out of their path, and begin to slot it into the various devices that you have. 3 C's of teacher leadership. The first one that I think is very important is clarity. You want to unpack teacher leadership, start with clarity. Because I made mention earlier that teachers have a lot of power, but I'm sure a whole lot of teachers will disagree and say, "What? Lot of power?" Right. It takes clarity to be able to identify this power before you can even begin to forge this power. Clarity. You need to understand your values as as a teacher. What are your values? You need clarity to be able to identify and pinpoint what your strengths are. You need clarity to be able to identify the impact that you want to make. You cannot effectively step into the shoe of your teacher leadership or wear the cloak of your teacher leadership if you lack clarity. So clarity will help you to understand your values, your strength, and of course, the kind of impact that you want to make. I said earlier that teacher leadership begins when teachers take initiatives, when teachers support peers, for example, when teachers drive innovation, for example, when teachers champion students' growth. Right. So, but you need clarity to be able to identify the strength that you have and what your values are as an individual teacher before you can fully step into, your teacher leadership power. So the second C is contribution. Because the essence of leadership in the first place is for you to create change, is for you to transform, right? So you must seek contribution that you want to make. So you need to identify ways you already, lead. As a teacher in the classroom, you're already leading in a particular way. You're already making contributions. So with the power of clarity, you'll be able to find out and say, oh, in this area, I'm already making contribution. That's an indication into your area of leadership. Are you already mentoring other teachers? Are you already mentoring even students? Right? Do you have a unique way of coaching either student or peers? Are you very fantastic when it comes to lesson design? That when you design lesson, your lesson is always fantastic. Your peers and your colleagues are your colleagues and even your senior, they are always praising your lesson. And you know it. That's your area of leadership. You're a lesson designer. You can lead in that direction. Are you, already advocating for students? You just find that you're always advocating for students, advocating for student welfare, advocating for student well-being. You are always an advocate for student. You are always an advocate for student, family connection. These are areas of contribution that you are already in. If you are able to identify the ways you're already leading, then all you need to then do is to begin to cascade. Like I always say, cascading excellence. You need to just begin to consolidate on that area. And the third C is collaboration, right? Take initiative to work with other people for systemic improvement. This is where leadership comes in. You are not working so that you are better than every other person. You are a collaborator. When you have this collaborative mindset, right, the innovative ideas that come to your mind will be geared towards systemic improvement and not just personal improvement. Because we are talking about leadership here. You want to create value, you want to create change in the system. That is the essence of leadership. You want to transform not just yourself, but you want to transform your classroom and you want to go beyond the walls of your classroom to transform the next classroom, to transform the school culture. But you cannot effectively do this without what? Collaboration. Okay? So remember the three C's of teacher leadership: clarity, contribution, and of course, collaboration. You must have a systemic way of thinking. That is, or yes, of course, that is where teacher leadership, begin. So I want you to say these words with me. Say, I carry leadership within me, no matter my title. I carry leadership within me, no matter my title. Say, my voice and actions matter in shaping education. My voice and action matters in shaping education. Say, I am a catalyst for positive change beyond my classroom. I am a catalyst for positive change beyond my classroom. So, this is how we're going to wrap up Module 1. Just know that your leadership journey begins with recognition. It begins with the recognition of your power. It begins with the recognition of your purpose. It begins with the recognition of your platform. Trust me, you already have a power, you already have a purpose, and you already have a platform. With clarity, you'll be able to identify this. So I'm going to see you, in the next module where we are going to discuss how administrators can actively breed and support teacher leadership. So until then, rise from within. Your students, your colleagues, and of course, the stakeholders need the leader in you. See you in module 2.